So we're going to move on to the current climate of commercial real estate lending. And, a lot of my clients are reaching out to me and saying, hey, Logan, are banks still lending on deals? Have the underwriting criteria changed? What's the interest rate? So talk to me about what Cornerstone's position is right now on doing new acquisition loans for clients. Is it just with existing customers? Are you still looking at opportunities right now?
It's both. I mean, we're absolutely open for new business and for business with our existing clients. I think our mindset is that we're going to bounce out of this pretty quickly and pretty strongly after the virus kind of subsides and we're back to working as normal. So we don't want to miss out on any opportunities that come across.
Sure. And so when you guys are underwriting new projects right now, is there any new terms that are you being a little bit more conservative on loans? And do folks need to be factoring in other or new underwriting criteria for those loans?
Yeah, I think there's some more conservative terms on new deals that come across. We just did a cash out refinance on a 1 to 4 family investor, and we did it at 70%.
Okay.
Typically those are done at 80%, but in this climate, we decided to go at 70%. So that's one. And then on the commercial side, we are looking to include some interest only periods of time because obviously there's some uncertainty with tenants and
Sure.
their ability to pay, especially in the retail sector. We haven't seen any retail stuff come across, but it's been some multifamily stuff and some other commercial owner occupied stuff. So the interest only period of time is kind of a deal that we're building into the new proposals as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. With your current loans that you are servicing, obviously I have quite a few clients with you, and so I think a lot of people are trying to figure out what they can do. I mean, I know some national credit retail tenants are sending notices that, look, we're just not going to pay rent, even though they might still be open for business, right? They might still be an essential business that is providing services and products to folks, but they've come back to their landlord and said, look, during this period of time for 90 days, we're just not going to pay rent. So how are you approaching that? Is there a way that you are helping those clients out currently?
Yeah, we absolutely, we're willing to work with our clients on a case-by-case basis and as they come to us. In those cases, we encourage them to push back on their tenants a little bit and try and get some form of rent, whether it be half the rent payment, a quarter rent payment, something, as opposed to just getting nothing. We found that when we encourage them to do that and they push back, that there is some workability with the tenants to make some form of payment.
Sure.
And then on our end, we're doing interest only payments as opposed to the P&I payments. So
okay.
We're looking at 90 days right now, and then at the end of 90 days, we'll reevaluate and see if we need to continue that period.
Sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in May and June, just because, obviously I think a lot of folks are carrying in some operating reserves enough to cover that interest only period. But if that comes up and the tenants still aren't paying, that's going to be another book of the chapter that we're going to have to open up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we've been in workout situations before, obviously with the post-recession and
Sure.
in 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now that was economic. This is caused by a virus and everybody's in the same boat. So banks are, our bank specifically is absolutely willing to work with our clients to get through this tough time.
Yeah. I just can't highlight the fact enough about having local banking relationships and community banks that are in the market that you're investing in. I think it's so important to have a relationship during this period of time, because I do believe that maybe some of the other servicers out there, like maybe a CMBS loan or something else, they might not be as willing to work with their clients than maybe, a Cornerstone bank might be, because, they have investors that have bought that and there's a return that needs to be provided to them. If not, they have a document they have to go back to, and they're not really willing on redrafting those documents. So I think there's a lot of flexibility and or just relational capital that has been built through working with banks like Cornerstone. So I appreciate that. Where do you see, obviously interest rates, we all thought that interest rates kind of I think they did take a little bit of a dip there for a little bit, but especially in the residential world, right? I mean, everybody was trying to get in and get a refinance or get their rate locked in. I think we saw that kind of skyrocket back up. Where do you see interest rates right now on the commercial real estate side? Let's just take multifamily, for example, and maybe give me your thesis on what that looks like for the next couple months.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time to be a borrower right now. Rates are very strong, very low for borrowers. We look at it on a complete package. We look at the strength of the guarantor, we look at the strength of the property itself, loan to value, is there a deposit relationship with it, and some other factors as well. But, I anticipate rates to be suppressed for an extended period of time. I think right now, multifamilies, you're looking at an A+ property, probably 4.25 or better from our standpoint. Now, I know there's even better rates out there from the larger banks and from the non-traditional bank financing aspect as well.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's really important for people to understand that, I mean, everybody thinks, and I get this conversation started, or at least it gets started with me a lot, that, well, the Fed is doing this and interest rates should be here, but there's a lot of components to that. Like you said, there's the strength of guarantor, there's risk and uncertainty that kind of widens those spreads, right? In the credit markets. It'll be interesting to watch. I know Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have come out with some new guidelines on what they are looking for from a loan to value standpoint, and I guess from what their interest reserves, or maybe even mortgage in the principal and interest reserves that they're having to require for new borrowers. So right now, bank execution looks really, really good from my perspective.
Yeah, the other thing to keep in mind is prime is, banks typically don't price real estate loans, commercial real estate loans, off of prime. They use indexes. Some banks, I don't know what the big guys use, but we typically use the 5-year treasury rate.
Mm-hmm.
And that fluctuates quite a bit. And then we put a floor in too. We're not willing to go below 4%. I think 4% would be our absolute best rate. And that's, I haven't seen us give out a 4% yet. So.
Right. Well, if you do give that out, you better give it out to me.
There you go.
Well, John, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to the conversation before we wrap up here?
I would just encourage, your listeners to reach out to their bank and ask for assistance. You don't know until you ask. Most banks are willing to work with their clients, but in this environment, they're pretty flooded with the SBA stuff. So if you don't reach out on something separate that, they're not going to know. They're not going to be able to reach out to you because they're busy. So reach out to them and ask if they can work with you, if help to provide that assistance that you need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And my last question that I always ask everybody, John, is what is your best advice for people to help them live free?
Just try and take it a day-by-day basis, I guess. In this environment, everybody's looking to when the social distancing stuff's going to be lifted, and that's out of our control. You can only control what you can control. So just take it a day at a time and enjoy that day to the fullest and get done what you can, and then worry about the other stuff the next day.
Yeah, control the controllables. That's a great mantra to have. John, where can listeners and everybody that's going to be watching this video get a hold of you and contact you?
My cell phone's the best way to get a hold of me. And
don't give your cell phone out. If you want John's cell phone number, you can reach out to me, Logan Freeman, and I will get you connected with John Jewell. But you guys obviously have your website up there too.
Yeah, you want the website?
I'll put the website in the show notes so everybody can take a look at where they can get in touch with you.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for your time, Logan. I appreciate it.